Hello, everyone. It's Nick from A Longer Life here, and I'm joined today by CEO and co-founder of Pulsetto, Povilas. Povilas, good morning where you are. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm good. Good. It's good to be early in the morning, having to talk with interesting people. So it's always fun to start the day with, let's say, more pleasant things.
Yeah, there you go. Well, let's jump right in and talk about what you're
Yeah.
doing when you use the
Yeah.
Pulsetto in the morning, or I'm doing that, and why it might help with stress or anxiety. Tell me, what is vagus nerve stimulation?
So vagus nerve stimulation is, it's quite easy thing to understand if you know what vagus nerve is. So it's like a highway of information between your brain and all your internal organs. And via vagus nerve, basically your brain is communicating with organs. So usually it's called like a highway of information, and we tap into that signal. We switch it from sympathetic to parasympathetic state. So we push your body from fight to flight to rest and digest. It should decrease your heart rate. Resting heart rate should increase your heart rate variability, slow down your breathing rate. Multiple things are happening. So basically just a quick solution to a little bit of resting time.
How do we know that vagus nerve stimulators actually work?
The biggest and most important thing, in my opinion, is if you have your own data. So if you have Whoop Strap, Apple Watch, or a ring, or any other, let's say, device on which you have, let's say, some data and let's say some trend lines, we can pull that data into our application and show you that we can improve those biomarkers, because nobody wants to read the paper and understand the small details, what are happening, etc. But if we can show you on our device and with your data, if you have quite high resting heart rate, usually you sleep quite badly. You cannot lower your body temperature at night, and it works.
And so with the Pulsetto Fit, how does it stimulate your nervous system?
So I also have mine. So you put it on your neck, apply a little bit of gel, and in the neck region, we create the electrical field between two electrodes. We push electricity through skin, through muscle level to vagus nerve, to vagus nerve, because it lies near the carotid artery. So it goes from the brain to all internal organs. So here we can quite easily apply our device, stimulate, activate, and push you into relaxation state. So, it's one of the best places where you can wear it and maybe forget it, because some people fall asleep, because one of the most popular programs of our devices using it before going to bed. We can basically reduce the latency when you are falling asleep, and also increase your deep sleep, REM sleep, but not increase overall time in bed. We can just decrease the time when you are moving in bed. Yeah.
And so how fast does the Pulsetto Fit work for something like sleep or anxiety?
So I would like to say, instantly, but of course, it depends on the person. There are some people who feel it from the first try when they use the Pulsetto, but for some people, it takes a little bit longer, from 1 week to 2 weeks. But in general, electricity travels throughout the body quite fast. So if you ever try to touch the live wires, you understand how fast it travels throughout the body. So, this is one of the ways that why we can be so effective and quite quick. And, if it does not work for you in 2-3 weeks, you can always return the device. But we see that, when you have your own data, or you see good, let's say, response, usually you like to keep this device for a reducement of stress.
What would happen if we stimulated our vagus nerve every day?
Just good things, in my opinion. In general, what happens if you are meditating every day, or doing breathing exercises every day, or, I don't know, training every day. Of course, it might be that some things can be a little bit worse, but with vagus nerve stimulation, stimulating, let's say, 8 minutes, 10 minutes a day, should not be any bad things. The more you do, the better adaptation you get for stress, let's say like a stress resilience, and you need to understand that your body or your brain needs to train. And if you're going to the gym for 1 year, you're getting stronger. When you stop, you're degrading over time. So this is also with doing let's say stress resilience or stimulating your vagus nerve. When you're basically training yourself, and you're getting, let's say, less anxious, less stressful, have a better quality of sleep. So it's consistency what matters, in my opinion.
Okay, so we're talking about consistency, using it every day. Is the Pulsetto safe for long-term use?
Let's say the best data that we have is from the implantable ones. Implantable ones are for drug-resistant epilepsy and drug-resistant depression. We will never try to go to these markets due to that. These conditions are very complex, but basically Pulsetto is like a spin-off of implantable devices due to that, when you're stimulating vagus nerve, even if you did not have any effect on epilepsy, the quality of life was improving. And, from data research, we said, okay, what is happening? And, researchers found that, you have a lot of positive effects. Let's say some inflammation markers got better. HRV got increased, and from that data you understand that you need to switch between two states. You need to activate your vagus nerve. This is quite safe due to that people have the implantable devices already for 40 years and they do not have any side effect. Just electricity does not have like a honeymoon period like medication. When you have like a first good tide and later you need to switch the medication, that the mechanism of action is not working anymore.
And so I've certainly seen benefits. I've experimented with the Pulsetto a lot. My partner has experienced benefits. She enjoys using it. You, of course, believe in the product. But a lot of people say the Pulsetto doesn't work. Why would some people say the Pulsetto doesn't work and others swear by it?
There is no therapy, medication, exercises which work for every person. But there are several factors. I would say 80% of people are responding to Pulsetto. 20% might be that they are not using properly, they're not applying the gel, or they just tried it once and said that it's not working. Maybe, I don't know, some other technology would work for them. We will refund you money and that's all. Maybe try other therapy, try to do some exercises. But this is like with sports. Some people try to play football, others basketball. If you do not like it, you do not like it.
Okay, so tell us some stories of how Pulsetto has changed people's lives and why that's important to you personally. Give us 1 to 2 examples.
A woman said that we talked with her. She was using the device, and she said, "Okay, I do not know if it is working or not, but I do not have any road rage." And it was quite interesting. And I said, "Okay, this is stress related. If you are over lashing over surroundings, it's stress related or anxiety related." And she said, "But this is a very positive thing due to that. My children do not think that I'm some sort of, crazy person, because, when you're reacting on the road, your children are sitting in the back. They do not understand what is happening, but you might be in some state which is basically quite intense." And they said, "I have very good relationship right now with my children, and it seems that even you have less stress, but you also have other people around you which are feeling that stress." So she said that was very, let's say, interesting and very good thing, that she feels now even better. She had to commute around 1 hour every day, so that was quite interesting. And the second one, which is more or less like related to things that my family feels, that one person said, "When I am stimulating my vagus nerve, I do not move a lot during my the bedtime and have better quality of sleep." Things that my family feels, that one person said, things that my family.
Well, I take that to say the Pulsetto is healing childhood traumas and saving marriages. So that's a pretty good outcome, isn't it?
Yeah.
What made you get so obsessed with neuromodulation?
So when I was in high school, I saw deep brain stimulation. Deep brain stimulation is when you're stimulating people who suffers from dystonia, Parkinson's disease, or tremors, and after the implantation, they switch on the device after 2 weeks, and it feels, and you see that person is getting better over seconds, and it feels like magic, and you understand, okay, just a small current in some specific brain space can help with debilitating condition which lead to death. Majority of people would not be able to say what is happening, and even neuroscientists can say, okay, this is happening, there are some mechanisms of action.
Yeah, it's fascinating to hear some of that backstory for you and personal motivation and experience. So, if you were going to sum it all up, why did you build Pulsetto?
So, I work with implantable devices, and I had, I would say, a very interesting job due to that. I had to work with deep brain stimulators, spinal cord stimulators, vagus nerve stimulators, machine transplantation. So, I saw a crazy interesting thing. He had a very good network in this field with physicians in Baltic regions and in some NVS regions in Europe. But before COVID, my father became quite ill, and we did all the tests. We gathered, all the biomarkers, and he was completely fine on the biomarker side. So basically, I saw that he was getting sick. He was degrading quite fast, and we could not find anything what is happening. So we talked with neuroscientists and said, maybe let's try vagus nerve stimulation on him. But the external ones were not in Lithuania. Implantable one could not be applied to him due to that he did not suffer for epilepsy. Being biomedical engineer or biomechanical engineer, I said, okay, let's build one and try on him. I could not finish it in time, and my father passed away. You never know the end date. You never know the timeline on which you are operating. So that was, really sad. I pushed it a little bit aside, but, I understood that this is possible to build and quite easily achievable to build external non-invasive vagus nerve stimulation device. During COVID, I met my co-founder Vitalius, on online, let's say, forums in the biomedical space. He was from let's say, business side. I'm from technical side, and his wife was suffering from cluster headaches. And we talked, and I said, let's try vagus nerve stimulation here. Due to that, one device on the market has this kind of let's say, application, and we tried it on her. It worked, and we understood that we have something, which is worth of pursuing. And things led to another. We started to search the, let's say, the funding. We received the initial funding. We built a prototype. Everyday person can use this kind of technology and have benefits.
Wow, thank you for weaving in your personal story and your co-founder's personal story. There's a lot of personal motivation there, and it gives you guys a real mission to live up to help people, and I love that. And you're far beyond that prototype now. You're all the way to the point where you've released a new version, which we've been teasing, which is the Pulsetto Fit. So tell us, what's new in the Pulsetto Fit?
We have like a problem due to that, some people have smaller necks. So when you apply the device, we had some gaps when we were lying down. So we created these magnetic paddings, which can be applied. There are two sizes. This was biggest, let's say, problems which, our customers were saying. So we made it like a magnetic fit where you can fit one device for a man or a woman. And basically it is like a family device already. So you do not need to buy any, let's say, different sizes. You can have just separate, let's say, paddings to our customers so that they can use it more. The promise to our customers that we want to make it as effortless as it can be.
Great. Well, I really love that it fits on better because it allows me to wear it laying down, which didn't quite necessarily keep the contact electrodes before previous to that, which is great. I really like that new feature on this. It also feels a little bit more robust to me as well. You've put some engineering design into it, and there's something else going on. Was there a vibration feature or something you've added to this where there's a like another layer?
So it's more algorithmic right now, but in next version, we will have some new, more advanced features.
All right, we look forward to that. I'll be sure to test it out nice and early. And
Yeah.
one other thing I wanted to ask about with respect to the Pulsetto was, what is Pulsetto Premium? What's inside Pulsetto Premium?
A lot, but in general, there are some features like meditation, guided meditation. So you can use pulsatto stimulation, but also if you activate it, can be via other things. Let's say like cold showers, breathing exercises, meditation techniques, humming, singing. They all are working, but usually it takes time. And it takes time to dedicate, to learn, to know how to do this properly. So in a premium, you can basically combine these two things. So, okay, you need, let's say, higher relaxation mode. You can listen to guided meditation. You can do a breathing exercise while you are, let's say, stimulating. You have also like a care chat where you can speak, explain what kind of, let's say, problems you are having, and we are trying to give a recommendation which program you should use.
What is the difference between stress and anxiety?
Yeah. So stress is quite easy. If you can pinpoint a stressor, let's say, source. Okay, is it work related or I don't know, family related? It's stress. If you can find the source, the anxieties, you feel the stress, but you cannot understand from where it is. So basically, it's a little bit deeper. You're already anxious when you're waking up, and you cannot understand from which kind of direction it is coming. So stress is when you can pinpoint the stress, and you can try to overcome it or change it or etc. And anxiety is where you cannot pinpoint. So this is the differentiation from stress and anxiety.
And as a follow-up to that, what is the biggest lie people believe about anxiety?
The biggest lie is that you need, I don't know, some sophisticated techniques to tackle. You can do simple things, in my opinion, to tackle anxiety. And, in my opinion, you do not need some, medication techniques, behavior therapies to push it out. So this is the biggest, let's say, thing, in my opinion, which is overstated.
That's an interesting perspective. Thank you for sharing that. And one of the things that we do during the daytime that can be quite stressful for our nervous system is stare at blue light. And I was curious if you could answer the question. What happens to your nervous system if you're staring at blue light?
This is not my topic, but in general, I would say during the daytime, it's not that bad, but basically you're getting, let's say, excited. And, blue light filters usually try to down-regulate your, let's say, nervous system. In my opinion, not the blue light is causing a lot of things, but the social media is causing a lot of things. Due to that, people are forgetting when you're consuming social media. Usually, I would say you need to frame it that it is like a junk food for your brain. This is the bigger problem, not the blue light. Blue light can be, just an added filter and, put the complete night shades without any light. And I would say you can go to bed and sleep for, normal time. Yeah.
All right. Well, in terms of thinking about performing across the day, I know that Pulsetto actually pulled in some funding to work with the military or the defense force. That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, I know that also a lot of high performers like to use vagus nerve stimulation. They'll use the Pulsetto. So my question on this is, why are CEOs and Navy SEALs obsessed with vagus nerve hacks?
Because when you are, let's say, in a more relaxed state, you can train better, acquire knowledge better. These things are core to identify what you need to do and what is the let's say, key thing that you need to do the same day. So when you are overwhelmed, you can be all over the place. When you down-regulate yourself and go to the, let's say, easier state, you can acquire knowledge better and say, okay, what is the most important thing that I need to do today, tomorrow, or this week? So, it's my opinion, CEOs and let's say Navy SEALs have one thing: problem solving. Kind of problem you're solving, it's quite easy to solve. Due to that, in my opinion, there are no problems which cannot be solved if you put your, let's say, mind, team, or effort to it.
All right, I like that answer.
Yeah.
Okay, and so here's
Yeah.
here's your last question today. I'm curious, you as a CEO leading a team, how are you going to use vagus nerve stimulation across your day?
I use it in multiple ways. I have Apple Watch, Oura Ring, our tracking devices. So I use it in the morning, as I mentioned. I use it before going to bed, but not always. But I also try to track if I have a lot of stress during the day. If I see that I have some spikes, I say, okay, let's stimulate it more, let's say for 6 minutes, maybe another 6 minutes. So in my daily routine, I have from 4 minutes to 30 minutes of stimulation of vagus nerve. And it depends on in what kind of mood I am. But the most when I stimulate myself when I'm traveling, due to that, my circadian rhythm is out of, vagus nerve stimulation and exercise. These two things for me is one of the biggest pillars in my longevity. Let's say like this: I try to exercise and stimulate, and if I cannot exercise, I stimulate more.
Povilas, CEO and co-founder of Pulsetto, thanks for answering our questions today.
Thank you, Nick. It was a pleasure.